Hello and welcome to the shop. Today I have what may be an interesting turn. Chuck Schlichter sent me a box full of blanks the other day, and one of the blanks in there was this one. And this is Trex. Now Trex is an alternative decking material that is made out of recycled material. It's a substitute for, say, treated lumber. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm pretty psyched about turning it. So let's head over to the lathe and see what this looks like. Got this blank chucked up and I'm ready to start turning. Kind of excited to see what it looks like. Like I said, I've never turned this material before, so this should be interesting. This stuff actually mills fairly easily. I mean, take a look at the shavings. They're a lot like wood shavings. I haven't quite got it true yet, but it's turning just like a soft wood. So not bad at all. Stuff has a very interesting appearance. I kind of wish I would not have tubed this for a Sierra and instead maybe tubed it for a bolt, because it almost looks like a camouflage pattern. It looks a lot like grass, and it may have looked kind of cooler on a bolt action pin. But we're going to go ahead and finish it out and see what it looks like. Couple of quick comments about the material. I noticed that it really loaded my sandpaper up quickly. I could flick the dust off of the sandpaper, but what would happen is the grit was gone. So this must be relatively abrasive itself due to all the different materials that it's composed of. So sandpaper doesn't last long, but I didn't have a lot of trouble with those centrifugal scratches you get. So I didn't have to do any back and forth sanding on the blank. Pretty much I just ran through the grits normally. I'm going to go ahead now, and I thought about putting a CA finish on it, but it's so tight grained I don't see any gaps. I mean, it's really everything is just tightly packed. I think what I'm going to do is just micro mesh it and see how it looks. Just finished up with the micro mesh. It really didn't give the blank any pop. I mean, it's nice and smooth. It's got a great surface on it, but it's just not really shiny. You can see it kind of drying a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is put this blank aside. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to hit it with a couple of coats of CA just to see if that'll bring it out, because it's super smooth, but it's just super dull. Hopefully we can make it pop a little bit. I've given this blank plenty of time to dry, and I'm ready to go ahead now and attempt to apply a CA finish. I don't know what to expect, so I'm going to start off with just a single coat of thin and see what it does to the blank. See, I'm not so sure to soak in, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. If it actually does look like it's soaking in a little bit, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put 3-4 more coats of thin, and we'll see how it looks and see if we want to move on to some medium. That's 4 coats of thin. It looks like it's finally starting to seal on the surface. It's not soaking in as bad. So I think what I'm going to do is give this a few minutes to finish drying, and then I'm going to move up and put several coats of medium on there and see what the blank looks like. The blank is looking pretty good. It's starting to sort of level out really nicely. The colors are, because of the material that it's made out of, they're kind of a little on the dull side. So I think I'm going to add maybe 2 more coats of medium just to see if I can't really just make it shine and pop. Well, that's the last coat I'm going to apply. I believe that was 5. I'm going to let this thing dry, and then we'll get the turning bushings back on here and micro mesh it and see what it looks like. We're ready to micro mesh this blank. It looks pretty good. see what happens. That really shined it up. I tell you what, it's got a real nice finish on it now. Let's go ahead and get it off here and get it buffed up. I'm ready to start buffing my blank, but before I do, I want to make a quick comment. Any of you guys who use one of these buffing systems, you'll notice that I've been having my dust port brought up and I've been running my shop vac to pull any dust away from the spindle here. And the reason why is you don't want to breathe the dust from these rosin blocks. White diamond or this blue, I'm not sure what the blue one's called. You don't want to inhale this dust. It's not good for you. So use your dust collection to get it away from you. I brought my Trex blank over to my pin press and I'm ready to press it into a kit. And you might notice that this particular kit has already been assembled. This is a Manhattan kit from Rockler, and it was actually already a pin. I had it at a show and it got damaged. Unfortunately, when you go to shows, many times things will get damaged and you have to be ready for that. So I've taken the damaged blank off, I've put it aside for a future project, and we're going to use this kit on our Trex blank. So let's go ahead and press. There's really, I mean, it looks about the same all the way around the blank, so there's not really an issue with where the clip is placed. So we're just going to pick a spot right there. Open the press up a little bit. There we go. And be very careful to make sure we don't press it in at an angle. There we go. I'm pressing from the side here with my camera overhead, and I don't want to just force this thing together. I like to rotate it a little bit to make sure that it goes in nice and even. Okay, bring that up to you. There we go. Look at that. We've got a gorgeous fit. That's what I go for. I love a perfect fit. The fit makes the difference in the pin. Readjust the camera there for you. We'll go ahead and slide the front half in. And you guys all remember how these go together. The transmission is a single unit, and you basically have your spring, whoops, and the spring just goes onto the ink refill. That slides into the nib, and then the transmission just threads right into that nib. There we go. And the action on these is really smooth. The Manhattans are a nice kit. Some of the other kits, like the Monarchs, are a little more nicely finished. I'm not a huge fan of the plastic, but it does make a stunning kit. Take a look at that. Not bad at all. I would really like to thank you for joining me for the turning of this Trex blank. I had never turned Trex before, didn't know what to expect. I will tell you, it turns wonderfully. Then I got to the point where it was time to finish it, and it was kind of a dull look to the blank, and I thought, this may not finish up so nice. But I started applying my CA and a little bit of micro mesh and some buffing, and it really actually turned out nice. It's got a lot of character to the blank, but it's not one of those just, boom, jump out and grab you type things. It's very, very subtle, but it's actually kind of nice. I like it. Listen, guys, I want to thank you for joining me in the shop. I want you to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon, and have a great evening, everybody.